Hi everybody, Holly here from the Magic Shores. Sorry we're a little bit late tonight. We've actually already done this show, and it turns out that the camera wasn't recording. So
no one was watching.
Yeah, so we're going to do a replay for you. So we'll just go down the table and introduce ourselves again.
I'm Amy with the Magic Shores Travel.
And I'm Holly with the Magic Shores Travel.
And I'm Ben, Holly's mobile luggage when she goes to Disney.
Special guest appearance. So we have added some name tags in the front, so if you want to get in contact with any of us, you'll know how to do that. And then, of course, don't call Ben.
Hey, you can call me. I'm just going to refer them to you. I know lots about Disney.
Right. So
There's a mouse.
Is there a mouse? Oh, cool. So we have some fun news for this evening, which we've already discussed, but we'll share with you too.
On the plus side, I won't be looking at my phone this whole time because we're recording from mine.
Although we should double check and make sure we're actually recording this time.
Yeah, pardon us for more technical difficulties.
Let's just double check here. So thanks for tuning in with us, and we were going to just make sure that
your news bit was that there's
a new restaurant at Disney Springs. It is Paddlefish, opening February the 4th. It is the former Fulton's Crab House, and they are already currently taking reservations. So if interested, log on and.
So that's what they were doing to Fulton's. They took down everything about it and were boarding it up, and apparently they revamped it.
Yeah. So check it out.
Yes, absolutely.
What, next week? February for this
yes.
week? Wait, this week coming out. What this
coming week.
It'll be next weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Also returning to Disney Cruise Line in January are the Marvel Day at Sea and the Star Wars Day at Sea. This is January of 2018. So if you didn't have a good enough reason to go on a Disney cruise already, this should give you a good reason.
It's like you need a good reason to do that.
And as we decided the first time, we're pretty much decided that for all of us, this will be a good reason to go. So if you want to get started planning that Disney cruise vacation, we highly recommend that you start now for next January. Yes. Once the rates come out for late May through September, which should be happening anytime now, of 2018, the prices on the January through May of 2018 will definitely start to increase more at that point. So Disney's best pricing is on their initial offer on cruise line, unlike Royal Caribbean, Princess, Norwegian, which we also service.
Carnival, everyone else.
Yeah, well, we don't do Carnival, but everyone else will basically at the last minute, if there are cabins available, you can get some really super deals. But Disney never has cabins available because their fleet is very small. They've only got 4 ships, whereas Royal has more than 20.
But they're building 2 new ones, aren't they?
They are building 2 new ones, and they're supposed to be unveiled in 2019 and 2021. So
I'm sorry, don't book Carnival.
That's Disney that's offering new ships, not Carnival.
Yeah.
And they might be, but I don't care. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, after hours. Yes. After hours events are returning to Magic Kingdom. So you can now spend 3 extra hours in the park after park closing. And a lot of folks have avoided these last year, thinking that they were going to be a lot like the Christmas and Halloween parties. They actually have a little bit less as far as amenities during the party. They don't have there's no trick-or-treating, obviously, because it's not trick-or-treat. There aren't free cookies and milk, or cookies and hot chocolate, cookies and cider, or whatever they've got that day, because it's not Christmas. Characters aren't dressed up like Christmas, in their winter wear. No special fireworks, no special parade. I'm starting to really selling it, right?
Yeah.
But
low crowds.
It also doesn't have people.
It also doesn't have people, right?
Right on Mine Train.
Exactly. We're talking
well, let's not go crazy here.
We're talking 15 to 20 minute waits on Mine Train.
That's like hopping on.
We're right, but I mean that's what we were talking about last year versus 80 to 100 minutes wait for Mine Train during the day.
Is this similar to the DVC party we did?
It's very similar. Yeah, the we did the DVC party last year, which allows Vacation Club members to go, and they did it as kind of a test event for the after hours event. We think that seemed to be what was going on. And we actually got special fireworks too that night, but they did not make this part of the after hours party last year. So kind of remains to be seen if they'll add them for this year. They were pretty awesome though. I would say they were the best Disney fireworks I've ever seen. So it's kind of unfortunate that they didn't bring those. I wish they would have. They did have at the after hours parties a lot of free snacks, so that element was still there. Some different character meet and greets that you can't see during the day at the park, so that's a good reason to go.
Darkwing Duck, Launchpad McQuack.
I don't think they were not there for the after hours parties last year. Okay. No, they might be, but they were there for ours, but they weren't there.
Okay.
So I guess they tested them and found out they were too popular.
I waited a long time to see Darkwing Duck.
Yeah,
and it was
I
worth
waited
every,
like 45 minutes to see Launchpad McQuack. So, yeah, I don't know why they didn't bring those out for the after hours, but maybe they'll add them this year. So, definitely, I'm sure we'll talk about that again in the future. Okay. And then just a little something. Housekeeping is going through a little bit of an overhaul. They're revamping the system a little bit. They're going to be on a deployment system like the sanitation workers in the parks, where they're going to have some sort of reporting system to a central command, and they're going to dispatch someone to take care of rooms needing cleaned right away. So apparently this is a departure from the way that they've handled their housekeeping in the past, and hopefully it will create a better service experience without demoralizing the housekeeping staff. So hopefully we'll see positive changes out of that in the future, and we'll just have to wait and find out, I guess. So our review topic for tonight is
the Polynesian.
Woohoo! And I'm going to start with the beginning of the day.
Sure.
Best things to do at Polynesian. First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning at Polynesian. Well, I'll touch on the fact that the Polynesian is unique in the fact that they have many different categories of dining. They have probably every category of dining, because they have a dinner show, which is the Spirit of the Luau. Spirit.
You got it.
I know.
It's in there.
I said it 45 minutes ago.
45 minutes ago was perfect. You guys should have been here.
I wish you were here. The Aloha, Spirit of the Aloha dinner show is a luau, and you will of course see hula dancers and fire starters and all kinds of crazy stuff going on, and of course delicious food of your Polynesian beef and roasted chicken and pulled pork, vegetables, and do want to mention for those picky kids and others
and adults
that they do have a limited kids menu where you will find, of course, your pizza and your corn dog nuggets and your macaroni and cheese. Polynesian also has 2 table service restaurants, one of them also being a character restaurant as well. Ohana, which is where I'll start. Ohana is a character meal only for breakfast, so don't if you're planning on doing character and you have your heart set on character, don't do dinner, do breakfast. But I'm going to start with the logistics of things, because there's a possibility that you're not staying at the Polynesian, but you definitely want to take advantage of the delicious food that they have at Ohana. And so if you're staying at the Contemporary or the Grand Floridian, you can just hop on the monorail and it will loop you around to the Polynesian. If you are staying anywhere else, for example, we stayed at Art of Animation in December. We took our bus to the Magic Kingdom. From the Magic Kingdom, we hopped on the monorail and took us right to the Polynesian.
And of course, some other transportation options there. If your reservation is late enough, you might be able to take the boat from the Magic Kingdom over to the Polynesian. Otherwise, if you have the very first reservation of the day, you can check with the cast member at the front desk at your resort to find out what time the first bus will run. They can usually give you a pretty good idea, but the buses can be unreliable first thing in the morning. They're just getting them started. If they run into any trouble and they have to change their dispatch, for the day, there's no guarantee that if you've got, like, say, a 7:45 reservation, that you're going to be able to get a bus. The buses typically start running about an hour before the parks open. Mm-hmm. Usually it's a little bit earlier than that, but they advertise an hour before. So if Magic Kingdom opens at 9 and I need to get to Ohana by 7:45, there's no guarantee that bus is running prior to 8 o'clock. So we recommend for an early reservation, you want to hedge your bets and either grab a cab or if you're so inclined, call an Uber. Uber will definitely be less expensive than taking a cab. Cab anywhere on property is going to run you close to $20. It's definitely worth it to be at your reservation on time and not slow down the rest of your day. But Uber across property, $6 to $8. So definitely a better option if you download the Uber app on your phone. And usually there are drivers around all the time because they know Disney's a really great place to pick people up, and especially for those early morning breakfast reservations.
Our reservation was for 8:30. We left at 7:30. We had no problems.
And our time frames.
I was just gonna say, what I would suggest personally is to allow yourself at least 45 minutes to an hour before your dining reservation. You don't know what kind of lines you're gonna hit for the buses or the monorail, for that matter.
Right.
And you don't, like Holly said, you do not want to be late for these reservations.
Right, and you could even run into the monorail and or the boat not running yet.
Right.
They've been doing ongoing maintenance on some of the monorail tracks for the last, probably 3 years. And every once in a while, the resort monorail will be shut down until like 8:30 in the morning, and because they're still doing some overnight work on the beams. So you might get to Magic Kingdom and still need to take a bus. Right. And so there's a lot of factors to consider when you're booking a very early reservation.
Right. So when we do get to the Polynesian by monorail, when you are let out of the monorail, you are actually on the second floor of the Polynesian, which is where Ohana is. And when you are seated by your host or hostess, you are given a piece of pineapple coconut bread, which I believe is about 2 inches or more thick, and absolutely delicious the whole way through.
And it's a very mild flavor. So I'm anti-pineapple. I don't want to see it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to eat anything that resembles it. I know. And I know a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are that way about coconut too. And I mean, really, you would have to have a pretty extreme aversion to either one to not be able to eat this bread. Yes. It's very, very mild, and it's just the flavors play together very nicely.
Absolutely. After you're seated, your server will take your drink order, but she or he will automatically bring you what they refer to as stitch juice, which is pineapple juice mixed with guava and orange juice. And I guarantee you will have more than one glass of this juice. Guarantee.
This is also at dinner. So
yes.
If you're at Ohana, you're getting juice.
Yes.
And once again, the guava really does dilute out the pineapple enough that if you're in anti-pineapple camp with me, you can drink this juice. You'll be fine. Unless you're allergic. If you're allergic to pineapple, for heaven's sake, don't drink it.
Yes. And then the main course comes. And Ohana is an all-you-care-to-eat family-style restaurant. So when they bring you for breakfast, it is a huge iron skillet. Huge. And once you finish it, they will bring you more. But on the skillets, there is Mickey and or Stitch waffles.
Stitch waffles?
Yes.
I want a Stitch waffle.
Yes.
Did you not hear that the first time?
No.
By the way,
oh my gosh, I just said that.
By the way, we should have just titled this podcast, this live stream, the Ohana live stream, because we were talking about it for a while.
Okay, after the Stitch waffles, we have scrambled eggs, we have sausage, we have bacon, potatoes, and then we also throw in some healthy things. We're gonna give a little plate of fruit.
It's nice.
Well. Yeah,
it's nice. Put some strawberries on your Stitch waffle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's
no strawberry soup though.
There's no strawberry soup.
They need to have strawberry soup.
No, there's no strawberry soup, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Throughout your meal, there could be a parade with the characters leading your way. The children and adults, because I joined in as well, will walk around the resort with their maracas and do a little tour of the restaurant. And then, as I had mentioned before in our previous Facebook Friday, character meals are a top priority for my family and I. We absolutely adore them. So of course you will have characters visit you at your table, which at Ohana is Lilo and Stitch and Mickey and Pluto.
And this is literally the only place you can meet Lilo, right?
As far as I know.
As far as I know,
Yes.
I'm not aware of anywhere. There's nowhere in the parks you can meet her, and I don't even think at Disneyland you can't. Alani maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And you probably meet her at Alani.
Yes. And there is a memory maker photographer who follows Stitch around. So you will, if you did purchase a memory maker, you can get a Stitch memory maker photo. I believe I covered everything in the restaurants. Just before you leave, make sure you explore the resort because it is absolutely gorgeous. You can't get into the pools, but you can take a look around the pool and visit the gift shops. There is the Moana gift shop, which is right by Ohana. You will have to pass the Moana gift shop in order to get on and off the monorail. After breakfast, likely you're going to a park. So if you're going to Magic Kingdom, just hop back on the monorail, make your way back around. If you're going to Epcot, I would suggest taking the 10-minute walk to the Transportation and Ticket Center.
Absolutely.
There you can hop on a monorail. It is a straight shot, no stops, directly to Epcot.
It is a little bit confusing walking through the Polynesian.
Yes.
So you might want to stop and ask a cast member or ask your server when you leave your breakfast that morning or your dinner that evening, whatever you're doing. Ask them for directions to the monorail. They'll be able to give you more clear directions than we will because we stop and look at the map and check where the paths are going. So
if you're walking through the parking lot, you are going in the right direction.
Yes, there is a time when the path kind of disappears and you're kind of like on a sidewalk with no curb and there are cars and like, where am I at? What's going on here? But
then there's like a hidden bridge or something like that, or like a raised walkway.
It's a little bit.
It looks like it's going off into the woods or something. It's not. It's heading for transportation.
You're going the right way.
Yeah. And of course, Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, you can grab a bus at the Polynesian and start your day in the parks. But
and something I forgot to mention last time.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about Moana Mercantile, and we're here for a character meal. Moana is actually doing pop-up meet and greets currently at the Polynesian, and I understand someone mentioned to me the other day that she was also at Hollywood Studios, but I haven't gotten secondary confirmation on that, and I pulled it up on the app the other day because I was like, where can I meet Moana? And I didn't see her listed in any park, so possibility she might be at Hollywood Studios, might not be, but she is definitely at pop-up meet and greet at Polynesian because I have seen photographic evidence of this fact. So there's no scheduled time, so there's no guarantee you'll see her. Like, you might have to hang out at the Polynesian for a while to run into her, but she is there at some point. So
very good. So since we talked Ohana breakfast, did you want to take over Ohana?
Yeah, let's go to Ohana dinner, and we'll let Ben talk about Ohana dinner because it's his favorite. So.
Also, Holly's tired of talking. She talked for the last 45 minutes, so but this is good. You're getting You're getting live stream 2.0.
Right.
So we remembered about Moana this time.
Actually,
yeah.
I think,
Yeah. So Ohana for dinner is the first thing you need to do if you're going to Ohana for dinner is you need to be hungry, very very hungry, as you can possibly get without like fainting or something. Because there's a lot of food. Now, at dinner, Ohana is not a character meal, so you're just going to be stuck with delicious food and all of it.
You have to take your own Stitch if you're going at dinner.
But so it starts out with the pineapple coconut bread. Good, very very good, but it's a trick. Remember, this is all you care to eat. It's a trick. So don't fill up on it. And then they bring out salad, delicious salad. It had some kind of.
It's some sort of. It's green and leafy, and it has some sort of like it tastes like that Thai dressing,
or the ginger dressing maybe.
Yeah, somewhere between there and like an Asian sesame kind of
salad. Delicious. Then they bring out the pot stickers and the wings. Yes, salad's always a trick. No, but they bring out pot stickers, wings. Delicious. The wings do not have a lot of sauce on them, if they have any. They are more like a honey baked wing type deal. Very, very good.
Was there dipping sauce for the wings? I don't remember. I don't think they.
Yes.
Did they bring? I don't think they bring us blue cheese though, right? It's
No, it's a different
kind of
dipping sauce. I think it's along the same Polynesian style.
Well, I've dipped my Asian wings in blue cheese. So.
Well, I dip everything in blue cheese. So, but so the wings and the pot stickers, amazing, very good.
Those pot
Still a
stickers
trick.
are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Still a trick. And then come the meat skewers. So they come out and they've got these long skewers. What?
The noodles.
Oh yeah,
the noodles.
Almost forgot the noodles again.
The noodles, honestly, are probably my favorite part of the meal.
Oh.
I know.
Traitor!
Those noodles are amazing.
The bread pudding feels your treachery. No, but yeah, so noodles. And this all comes out all this stuff comes out concurrently. So you've got noodles and salad and veggie. There are veggies in there too somewhere, but it's just constant food, and it's all you care to eat. So if you're like, I am out of noodles, bring me more noodles, please. They will do that. And so then they bring out these huge skewers of meat, and they've got chopped, sliced steak and sliced chicken, and we said it was chicken and chicken. Shrimp, and they will just keep sliding them off the skewer until you tell them to stop, and when the skewer is empty, they will come back with more.
They'll bring you another skewer. Don't worry.
Yep. Yeah. So
won't let you go hungry.
Very, very, very good. We've eaten there twice, 3 times. 3 times.
We've eaten there 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. Been great every time.
There was a period where I think people were not recommending Ohana because it had kind of fallen off in quality. But that was actually before the first time that we ate there. So in the last 3 years, Ohana's been aces. Definitely recommend.
Definitely recommend, but probably not more than once a year. I don't know if your stomach can handle it. Mine certainly can't. But so meat, delicious. Shrimp, delicious. Great. They've got these big open fire pits behind the counter, and you can see
actually watch them grill the meat.
Yeah, it's great. Still a trick, because what comes next is the bread pudding, Banana Foster bread pudding. It is delicious. They keep bringing it to you, and the problem is by the time you get to it, you're so full that there's no space.
Right, and then when you order the second one, then it's just game over. So don't even try to function the rest of the night.
You will end up decidedly uncomfortable after Ohana, but it is very, very good.
Now, one way to not end up decidedly uncomfortable after Ohana.
I was still uncomfortable, but that's my own fault.
That's your fault. Is to stay at the Polynesian, and you can order what's called the Ohana Twilight Feast, and it is fabulous. They bring all of the things that they have at Ohana. They bring them to your room, including
the bread and the stitch juice. Although we think the bread is slightly different.
It's either they've changed the bread entirely because we haven't eaten back in the regular restaurant since we had the room service. So they've either changed the bread entirely away from the coconut pineapple bread, but it's the same bread that they serve at Kona. So I don't know if they just bring the bread from Kona because it's easier to transport, or they don't want to make as many loaves. I'm not sure or they've changed the bread at all Ohana or Polynesian restaurants. It's a mystery.
Doing this live stream twice makes me want to go eat at Ohana.
Sorry, honey, we're eating at Kona.
I know. Still good.
So, I did check Ohana. They don't have any reservations for Sunday.
It's because we didn't book 180 days out.
I know. We'll get to that in a minute. So the Ohana Twilight Feast, they bring everything. It's fantastic. And, of course, it helps if you have your room situated that you have a coffee table or something, because it's too much food to put on whatever that little table they give you with the 2 chairs. You'll never fit all the food on there. Some of it'll have to sit on your bed. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, they bring you heaping plates of noodles, of chicken wings.
It'd be terrible if I had to eat wings and noodles in bed.
It would be, yeah, it would be rough. So definitely, as far as portions on that, we recommend 1 portion per 2 people, per 2 adults. If you have a kid, 3 people in the room, just order 2 portions. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
If you're still hungry, go down and get a Dole Whip later. It's good. 2 portions for 3, or 1 portion. I mean, for 3 people would be sufficient. 1 for 3. The portions are the same price as a regular unlimited Ohana meal. So for $40-ish, plus they charge you an in-room delivery, and of course you're going to leave a gratuity because they were kind enough to bring it straight to your room and you didn't have to go fetch your food.
It's elaborate.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it's going to run you about $46 for a portion, but versus $40 a person to go to the restaurant, a family of 2 or 3 can now eat for $46, $48, something like that.
Yeah.
it's definitely a great way to actually save on the cost of your meal. And I think if I was staying at Polynesian again, I would probably just order a fresh portion every night. And we would just share it, and we would just eat ohana every single night. So, yeah, I mean, it's really good. You can sit on your balcony and eat it. There are some rooms at the Polynesian that don't have a balcony, but as long as your room does, you can sit outside and have a nice little feast. It's really fabulous.
It's really nice.
We did this recently. We shared 3 portions. We had 2 friends come over, so there were 4 of us in the room. And 3 portions for 4 people was way too much food.
Yep.
Not that we were complaining about that, but we actually held the leftovers back. We each had dinner the second night.
Yep.
So this is the 3 portions now. We've had 4 people eat a regular meal, and I mean a meal stuffed to oblivion from the portions they provided. Then still had 2 more meals the next night. I think I had another small meal for lunch the next day. Or I had leftover noodles for breakfast or something. and
I had leftover bread pudding.
And we had at least 3 servings of bread pudding left. So we got 10 meals out of 3 portions. It's a really, really good value.
Yeah.
And convenient.
Yeah.
It's just nice. It's nice to not have everywhere else in Disney, you got to go and sit down in a restaurant and there's people around, and it's a nice way to get out of the crowds and just have a very chill meal. So, yeah. So we've talked about ohana probably pretty much to death, right?
Yes.
So
this is the Ohana podcast.
Right. So moving on, another great restaurant.
One thing.
Yes.
One thing to add. We briefly touched on it. That ohana is extremely difficult to get a reservation for.
Mm-hmm.
So please, 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 that 180th day is very important, very crucial for this restaurant.
Yep.
And if you are having your travel agent make your reservation for you, please allow some flexibility
For times.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they do open for dinner at 3. I know they're an early dinner opening, and I'm pretty sure it's
they do not
3,
serve lunch. It's
3:30.
just breakfast and
Right.
dinner,
So breakfast probably ends at 1:30, and then they actually shut down the restaurant for 2 hours, and then 3:30 they open back up again.
So what we touched on before is another advantage to staying on Disney property, because if you are staying on Disney property, you have the availability to start making dinner reservations at 180 days, from 180 days till 10 days throughout your trip. If you're not staying on Disney property, you have to call every day that it is your 180th day, which can be not so fun.
So
and you will also have the I'm losing everything now. You will have preference over seating if you're choosing on your 10th day to go to ohana, rather than somebody who's just calling in and it's their 189th day and they're trying to get ohana and they cannot get it.
So if you're checking in and you're staying on site, and let's say you're checking in November 1st, and someone else is staying, down the street at Jim Bob's Motor Inn, and they are checking in on the 1st as well, that means that when you call in 180 days prior to November 1st, you can book November 1st through November 10th, assuming you're staying that long. But the guy staying at Jim Bob's Motor Inn can only book for the 1st. So you're going to have, you're going to be able to book for the 2nd through the 10th. And he's stuck with this priority window here. Plus, you're going to beat out all of the people who are only staying for 5 days and maybe aren't checking in until the 2nd, but, or they're staying for 9 days. You're going to have that priority window. So that's one of the big benefits of staying on site. If there's a particular restaurant that you really is like a make or break, do or die restaurant for you. And typically, right now, what we're seeing is that's happening at Ohana, Cinderella's Royal Table, Be Our Guest, and Akershus.
Some of Chef Mickey's too.
Chef Mickey's can be tough too.
Yeah.
So those are the big ones that are going to be difficult for you to get into, where that 180-day window is going to really be a priority. So if you book them towards the end of your trip as kind of your special final meal of your vacation, you're going to find you're going to have more availability, more choice as far as getting in there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. No, that's good.
It was top of mind, so I just
right, absolutely. It's a good time to throw it in because it's the right restaurant. So, so moving on to Kona Cafe, which is the other table service restaurant at Polynesian. I guess we start with breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast.
Right? Okay. I am normally anti-breakfast. I don't like to sit down first thing in the morning. I don't like to eat a lot first thing in the morning. I don't really like breakfast food. I would go to Kona for breakfast every day for the rest of my life. And it comes down to 2 dishes, one of which they have all the time. It's their signature dish, and one of which we just by happy accident ran into. It was offered seasonally, and we were there in the right season. So the first is Tonga toast, which is a thick French toast that's stuffed with bananas and caramel. And I mean, obviously, if you don't like bananas, this is not going to be your go-to, but I love bananas. And not really huge on French toast, but the bananas and the caramel make it almost like the Ohana bread pudding, which, as we've previously discussed, we'll happily eat for breakfast. So, really great option. And if you can't get a reservation at Kona, or if you also don't really like to sit down, but you want to try Tonga toast, they also have it available at Captain Cook's, which is the quick service at the Polynesian. So it's a great option to be able to run over to Captain Cook's, grab some Tonga toast in the morning. In fact, especially if you're staying at Polynesian, run down, grab some for your room, take the Tonga toast back. Everybody can have breakfast, and then you can be on your way. So that's a great way to save time and still get to try Tonga toast, because it's one of those like cult classic favorite Disney foods. So if you haven't had a chance to try it yet, I recommend it. And the other dish that made me fall in love with breakfast is,
Oh, goodness.
I found somebody who would serve me a burger at breakfast. So the Loco Moco burger at Kona Cafe is just straight up amazing. They put an egg on a burger, and I don't know what else they did to it. I can't even remember what it looked like. I don't have any pictures of it because I forgot my camera that morning.
You sure?
I forgot my camera. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember being mad about it. So the only picture that I have is the one that Jennifer took with her phone and texted to me. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we're really short on Kona pictures. It's sad.
Maybe I have them on my phone.
Maybe.
I'll have to check.
Maybe. Okay, but the Loco Moco burger is really amazing. And once again, it's seasonal, so you may or may not be lucky enough to run into it, but if it's there, try it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, Kona also has dinner.
Yes.
So.
What did we get that time? I got the Polynesian noodles. Those were very good. It's a lo mein type noodle. Very good.
Very tasty. They're similar to Ohana, but not quite.
Yeah.
Not exactly the same.
They were heavy. They were sauced heavier.
Yeah. Those also are available at Captain Cook's.
Yes.
So Polynesian noodles and Tonga toast. And I'm sure you can get many other things at Captain Cook's, but with so many great table service, we usually don't quick service there.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing that we tried at dinner at Kona, lamb chops.
That's what
the
it was.
lamb chop was out of this world, dynamite. In fact, we're eating at Kona again on Sunday night, and I'm probably getting a lamb chop. I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to look at the rest of the menu. I'm just pretty set on it.
Plan that out.
I've also heard good things about the sushi at Kona. I haven't had the opportunity to try it yet. We might try it.
Yeah. And we'll actually be doing some live stuff. We're going to be down for just a really quick trip, and literally it's just to check out Festival of the Arts and to visit my cousin Jen, who is working in Florida for the winter. So we're going to be having dinner with Jen at Kona Cafe, and I'm hoping we can get her on camera to do a review, but I don't know, because she's very, very camera shy, and she doesn't have Facebook, so she doesn't know I'm going to ambush her. But Jen is a pastry chef, and so she works in the restaurant industry, and has worked for some very, very good restaurants. Like she worked for Wolfgang Puck right out of culinary school, and has been working on a restaurant in Martha's Vineyard for the last 2 years. She's very, very good at what she does. So I would really love to get her opinion on the restaurant, and hopefully she likes it, since we're recommending it.
Oh my!
But we will be coming to you live from Kona on Sunday night, and then live from Festival of the Arts on Monday. And we'll be doing some quick pop-up videos here and there. They'll be pretty short, but we're gonna put them on my individual agent page so that we don't clog the feed for the main page with all of these little quick snippets, because we want to be able to keep our regular videos and our reviews kind of at the top, so they're easy for you to find. So if you want to see the live from Disney World this weekend, you're going to want to go to facebook.com/TMY, like the magic's yours. It's TMY Holly, HOLLY. So TMY HOLLY. And we will be broadcasting from there, so check it out. That's it for food.
Yes. Oh no.
Oh, we missed the important thing.
Yeah, you almost skipped it.
Speaking of
Disney,
Disney food.
Yeah.
It's especially bad since we rehearsed this. But so yeah, what Holly is talking about is there is a fantastic frozen treat at Walt Disney World that many people may be familiar with. It's called the Dole Whip, which is pineapple soft serve. And they serve it a couple of different ways. You can adulterate its pineapple pureness by mixing the soft serve with vanilla or orange, depending on which one you add.
No orange anymore.
No orange anymore.
No, orange is gone.
Thank God. Out with the orange vanilla, pineapple only. And you can get it as a float, floating in pineapple juice. So
the orange vanilla is my saving grace.
Yeah.
And it's gone. And the vanilla is just not.
There are actually a couple of places to get this on property, but there's actually, I guess there's only really 3. There's
two regular.
There's the place in Adventureland in the Magic Kingdom. There is the place in is it in Africa?
Yeah, it's TMY Refreshments
in Animal Kingdom. There you can get it with rum or
pirate like.
Yeah, was there something else you could get it with, or just rum?
I think it's just rum.
Okay, so so rum or plain, but still you can get it there. And then staying at the Polynesian means that you have access to the Pineapple Lanai, where you can go and get a Dole Whip whenever they are open.
The only problem is they're not open first thing in the morning, so you can't get a on my way to the parks Dole Whip. You can't have breakfast Dole Whip.
Yeah, they usually open. I think they open around 10 or 11, maybe 12. I just remember being disappointed trying to go there really early in the morning. But so yeah, if you enter the Polynesian from the front, you go through the lobby, ignore everything, because you're going for a Dole Whip. Go around the little tiki statue guy, out the back doors. To your left, there are going to be 3 wooden spoons, a sign with 3 wooden spoons, and that's where the Pineapple Lanai is.
It's near the pool.
It is. Yeah. Well, sort of. I mean, you still have to go.
Well, but it's in that pool area.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're out swimming, you could definitely stop over and grab a Dole Whip.
Yeah. And you can get a souvenir tiki mug like Stitch has right here, or a tiki bowl. And they are kind enough not to make you get your ice cream actually in that. They will just give it to you wrapped up so that you can still pack it in your suitcase and not have everything smell like pineapple. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite desserts at Disney World. I drag Holly there every time, and she nearly faints.
I'm a good sport about it.
She nearly faints from the smell of pineapple, and she complains the whole time. It's awful.
I don't complain at all.
She doesn't. She's great, folks.
We actually have this really cute picture of Ben, and I wish we had some way to put pictures up, because that would be a lot of fun. We're working on the technology. Hopefully you can see we're getting a little better every week. We've got decorations on our table now.
Except when we don't broadcast at all.
Except when we totally forget to
we can post the pictures in the comment feed.
Oh yeah, we can. Okay. Well, I have this really cute picture of Ben, and he's wearing this button our friend Leah gave to us. It says, "I'm here for Dole Whips." And he's pointing at his button with this really sad face because Pineapple Lanai is closed. He really wants a Dole Whip.
Very sad, very very sad. But it's really great for, especially if you want to go watch the fireworks on the beach, which is one of the great amenities the Polynesian has. You can go watch Wishes on the beach. You can stop and get a Dole Whip and then head out to the beach. It's great.
When you watch Wishes on the beach, they actually pipe the music in and they have it delayed properly, so that it still matches with the action that's happening with the fireworks. I don't know how they figured that out. Somebody with a degree in physics probably handled that, sound to light ratio. Or whatever.
Yeah. So, but just a little warning: the castle is very small when you're looking at it from that far away.
And it looks purple.
It does. It does.
It's really good. You can see the castle if you're just watching the fireworks. But unless you have a $2,000 camera, don't even try to take a picture because you're not going to be able to see it. Yeah.
What's next? We did this already. We should be
really good at this. Did we miss a dining? I think we got it. Trader Sam's.
Yes.
Yeah. Trader Sam's is a place at the Polynesian. It's the Polynesian's exclusive bar, and it's very sought after. So you will find, if you'd like to visit Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, you may have to wait in line to get in. I've heard, and I don't know if this is fact or not, but that it was formerly a mechanical closet, and they've transformed it
into a way to take more money from you.
But Trader Sam's actually, there's actually one at the Disneyland Resort, and that's where it started. And it's new to the Polynesian. It's only been there maybe 2 or 3 years. I might be off on that. I forget exactly when it opened. But the inside of Trader Sam's is very, very crowded, but they do have a nice terrace outside where you can sit and relax and really, really enjoy yourself. So it's a neat place to stop by. Just be prepared. You might not be able to get in and get a drink and get right out. You may need to plan to stay a while.
Yeah. Did they add that when they did the big revamp on the?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Poly underwent renovations a couple of years ago for the lobby area, and it looks really nice.
I'm gonna say 2014 to 15.
It was one of the times we were down there.
Yeah, so it's probably about 2 years.
There was a decorative wall where there used to be a lobby, but now it's all nice looking.
Yeah, now it looks beautiful except for the missing water feature.
That everyone's still angry about.
I will say that without the water feature in the lobby, the sound is much better because when the water feature was in there, it was very loud because it echoes a lot in the lobby. So I can definitely see the benefit of not having something that's, creating all that noise in the center. But it was just very, I mean, we like water an awful lot. So it's kind of, like, I miss it. Yeah. The little tiki man's cute, but I miss the water.
When we were just there in December, of course, all the Christmas decorations were up.
Oh.
So the Polynesian Christmas tree was adorable with your lays and Lilas and stitches on the tree, and it's a huge tree. If you get to go during Christmas time to Disney World, period, it's just Disney's magical. It even kicks it up a notch at Christmas time.
Right. Absolutely. That's my favorite time.
Mine too.
Absolutely.
Mine too.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it becomes so difficult to cram everything into November and December that sometimes it's really hard to travel then.
Yes.
But it's so worth it.
Yes.
It's especially if you've been to regular Disney World.
Yeah.
It's just definitely worth it to see it in that new light.
And we talked about resort hopping, I think, in this podcast. I'm not sure if it's this one or the other one. But at Christmas time, it's really cool to resort hop because, for example, the Contemporary does a gingerbread house. The Grand Floridian does a gingerbread house. Beach Club does,
and Boardwalk.
Beach Club's gingerbread house moves. This year they had a carousel, and it was moving, and I had to literally read the plaque describing. I was like, "There's no way this is gingerbread," and sure enough, it was. And it's just, you're in awe whenever you're going into any of the resorts or the parks. Each park has its own themed Christmas tree, and but I'm getting off topic now because I get so excited about the Christmas.
Well, the Polynesian is one resort that does not have a gingerbread house.
No, they do not have.
Which I think is really interesting. I'm surprised that they haven't added one there because it's the only monorail resort that is lacking gingerbread.
Yes.
So.
And last year we were there when they were putting up the gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian, and that is a sight.
Yes.
I'm talking a gingerbread house where you need a ladder to place the tiles on the roof.
Right. People actually work inside the gingerbread houses, and they sell gingerbread cookies out of the structures that they build. Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Sorry. I had to talk about the Christmas.
Sort of. I mean, aside from, we had an exchange student from Germany one time that I was pretty tight with, and she brought us, she sent us after she was home, some German gingerbread for Easter one year. Oh my God, that was the best gingerbread I've ever eaten in my life. This is second. Short of actually just going to Germany and getting gingerbread, just go to the either the Grand Floridian or the Boardwalk where they stand inside and sell them.
Yes,
because that's just fun.
And you can also, the Contemporary had them for sale.
They have them for sale, but they just have last year they just had a flat. They didn't have an actual house.
This year it was just a flat too, but they did have a station where you could purchase the gingerbread. And they had cookbooks there as well and other cooking supplies.
Yeah,
but
very, very good. Let's go back to the beach for a minute.
Can we stop and get a Dole Whip on
Sure, why not? Everybody grab your swimsuits, we're going back. The other cool thing that you can see from the beach at the Polynesian or on the boat going to and from the Magic Kingdom, and that boat actually goes to the Magic Kingdom and the Grand Floridian. So you have a couple of options there when you're on the Polynesian boat loop. You cannot get to the Contemporary via boat from the Polynesian. You would have to go to the Magic Kingdom and transfer and get to the Contemporary Wilderness Lodge loop. So those are two separate loops with no connectivity. But if you're on the boat or on the beach, you can see the electrical water pageant, which is a very cute thing to see. It's something that most people don't. A lot of people, if you haven't stayed on the monorail loop, don't even realize it's there. Mm-hmm. So really cool thing to stop and watch that water pageant. And as we talked about on our first show 45 minutes ago, that was actually an opening month attraction. It opened October 25th. Disney World opened October 1st of 1971, and then this followed 25 days later. So and it hasn't been refurbed since it started. So all of the floats that are on that electrical water pageant have literally been running for, well, now 45 years. I mean, they may have swapped the floats out, but they've been the same floats. Which means that all of the characters that are represented there and all of the music that's played is from Disney movies prior to 1971. And if you go and watch it, you'll realize why this is surprising, because there's something that looks like King Triton, and there's an octopus, and there are fish. They don't really look like Nemo, but you definitely would think like, oh, maybe it's Finding Nemo and the Little Mermaid. And no, I have no idea what they're from, but they're not from Finding Nemo and the Little Mermaid. Yeah. And that one, actually, we learned that from our boat driver. He was telling us a little bit about the history, and he wanted to see if we could identify any of the music. And I think I maybe got like the first song. And I do a lot of like reading about Disney and Disney history, and I'm like, these references are so obscure. I have no idea where these songs are from, but they're all Disney movies pre-1971.
Should we talk about the rooms?
We should. I did say one more thing about the boats.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Our funny thing from earlier.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes.
Before we talk about the rooms, there are bungalows at the Polynesian now, which are 2-bedroom, just amazing. They're over the water. They actually call them the Bora Bora bungalows, because they are reminiscent of what you would see in a photograph of Bora Bora, and you're kind of out there in your own little 2-bedroom, not really little, it's like 1,500 square feet, bigger than our first apartment, 2-bedroom bungalow. It has a large wraparound veranda and a private plunge pool. So in the, I know I said we weren't going to talk about the rooms, but I think it's important to understand these rooms before I tell you the story. In these 2-bedroom bungalows, you can actually sit in your plunge pool and hear and see the Wishes fireworks, and feel like you're the only person in the world.
And have a Dole Whip.
And have a Dole Whip, because you might as well go grab that before you go out and sit on your balcony. Now, I don't think they've put Dole Whip machines in the 2 bedrooms. That would be amazing.
Would just top it off.
Yeah, that would be it.
That would just be it.
Yeah.
That would be it.
That is not a feature of the Polynesian. There is no Dole Whip machine in the 2-bedroom. So anyway, we were taking the boat back from the Magic Kingdom one night, and our boat driver, funny, the boat drivers are hilarious. Like, you really, especially on the Seven Seas Lagoon, you owe it to yourself to go out and just ride around in the boats for like 2 hours, because they're great. We actually ran into a guy one time who sang songs to us while he was driving the boat. Like,
he was great.
Yeah, he sang us "It's a Small World" and "It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow." And he was really, really good. We call him Marty the Singing Boat Captain. So Marty, if by any chance you're watching, our trip was awesome, and thank you so much. So I didn't check or I don't remember what the boat driver's name was this time. I usually try to pay attention, but I forget. So we're pulling up to the dock at the Polynesian, right? And the dock at the Polynesian is right beside the Bora Bora bungalows. Like, you can't walk there from them. Like, you have to walk around, but it's like geographically, if you could swim across the lake, don't do that. It's right there. So we're pulling up to the dock, and he pulls the whistle 2 times, because that's what you do when the boat's docking, to notify everybody that it's time to dock. And I don't know what the whistle actually means. It's just they do it all the time. So anyway, he's pulling the whistle. And he turns around to us and he says, "You know what that whistle means?" And we're thinking we're gonna get some like secret backstage Disney trivia knowledge, right? And he's like, "That means you paid too much for your bungalow." But in all seriousness, personally, I think those sounds are very soothing. I would be happy to stay in my bungalow and listen to the ship whistle all night.
I'd be willing to suffer through it.
Yeah. I mean, I could put up with it for sure.
The bungalows are pretty amazing.
Right. But I just thought I thought that was hysterical. And there was somebody sitting on that boat that was staying in a bungalow, and they're just like, "We hate you guys." So, where did we want to go? To the rooms.
To the rooms.
Yeah. The rooms at the Polynesian are probably one of the largest on property, for sure. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Polynesian was built in 1971, and it was the first Disney resort to open. So they hadn't figured out yet that they could make the rooms smaller and cram more people in. So the rooms are very luxurious, and it's just a very, very nice resort to be in. They run about 400 square feet for a studio. And most of the rooms at the Polynesian are standard and studio rooms. You can either be in the standard room, which is going to give you the 2 queen beds, or or a king bed and a fold down. The 2 queen bedrooms also have the fold down. They sleep 5 people. Or you can be in what would actually be a Disney Vacation Club room in a studio that has a microwave with your mini fridge, which really helps if you're having Ohana room service. And it has the split bathroom in the DVC suites, which I don't believe, according to our info sheets, it does not. There's no split bathroom in the regular Polynesian rooms. Even though the cast member at the front desk, when I asked that question specifically, swore to me that there was. I don't think he knew. So, but if you stay in the DVC room, you do get the microwave and the split bath, but you also sacrifice 1 bed. You end up with a fold-out couch and a fold-down bunk. So there's a little bit of trade-off there, and of course there's some cost difference. We'd have to price that out individually for someone.
And you can have a standard room. You can have a lagoon view room, and of course a theme park view room, which
now the theme park view rooms in the concierge building do not have balconies, so that is something to keep in mind. Not every room at the Polynesian has a balcony. I guess in 1971 that wasn't really a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Now I think if you were building a resort the scale and the scope of Polynesian, every room would have a balcony.
Is it? Do you know if it's only the concierge rooms that don't have a balcony?
I know it's in the building where the concierge station is.
Okay, because oh no, I'm staying concierge level. I don't have a balcony.
Right, and of course concierge level means that you have access to the club room where they put out free food and beverages throughout the day. It is not enough food to substitute for a dining plan. It's not enough that you can exist off of it. Unless you're fine with eating Cheerios for your entire trip, which, if you're going to stay at the Polynesian, I don't recommend doing that. Stay somewhere else and have some meals, because you should eat food while you're on vacation. So, where were we going with that? Rooms. We were on rooms. Yes. Oh, number of rooms though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Most of the Polynesian, like I said, is studios and standard rooms. They only have 20 of the Bora Bora bungalows, which are the 2-bedroom suites. And then they have 6 interior suites throughout the rest of the resort that are 1 or 2 bedrooms. So very, very small selection of just regular standard rooms, which it kind of makes sense when you think about that it was built in 1971 because a lot of people vacationing then, it was just a big deal to be able to stay that close to Disney World. Like nobody really cared if they had a suite, that was like presidential suite kind of thing. So. That does make it very difficult, very competitive to get a suite at the Polynesian if you need it to accommodate your family. Now, a 1-bedroom's still only going to sleep 5 people plus 1 child under the age of 3. So that's really not giving you any more capacity. It's just giving you more space to spread out. And the 2-bedroom suites, of course, are where you're going to get your higher capacity, and they sleep 8. Is that right?
The bungalows?
Yeah, the bungalows are 8.
8.
Okay, yes. So 8 people in a 2-bedroom. Yes. So those are your options there. And in total rooms, we talked about Coronado last week having, I want to say it was like 1,920 rooms. The Polynesian has fewer than half of the rooms of Coronado. So I feel like I'm talking a lot. Amy, do you want to tell the folks at home why that's a really great thing?
It is a wonderful thing because you're not fighting your neighbor for breakfast in the morning when you're trying to get out the door to go to the park. So less people means less rooms, means less people, means less waiting times in restaurants or in line for Dole Whips or in line at
in the pool.
Yes, the pools. Mm-hmm. You have more space at the pools, and the Polynesian has 2 pools, which is kind of surprising for it being a deluxe. But then again, it is smaller, so they don't need the 3 pools that like Art of Animation has. So yeah.
And you like the Polynesian pool in particular.
Speaking of pools, the larger themed pool has just been renovated. 2015, I believe, is when they finished.
Right, and none of us have actually swam in that pool.
No.
yet, but
dying so.
Yeah.
But it is called the Lava Pool. It has a volcano with a huge waterfall and a 142-foot long water slide.
Which is about 20 feet longer than the one at Coronado, right?
Coronado is 123-foot water slide.
Amy knows the water slide stats like you wouldn't believe. She's got it down.
I like my water slides. The Polynesian also has the Oasis pool, which is a more tranquil pool but it is open to all ages. It's not an adult-only pool. It may look that way, probably because all the kids are in the lava pool, but it
adults too.
Yes. So, but yes, there is 2 pools. Some of the other activities there are the movies under the stars, which most other resorts do have these days.
And those actually take place right across from the Dole Whip stand. I mean, not that we're pushing the Dole Whips, but
Dole Whip of the movies.
right, and it's really close to the pool too, so it kind of makes a nice little community area there behind the resort.
They have campfire activities in the evenings. They have the motorized boats, fishing, volleyball, jogging trail. Want to say anything?
I think that's most things.
I think I covered all of the recreational activities.
Did we miss anything? It's hard to remember what we've told you this time and what we told you the first time when you weren't here.
We mentioned that you can see Wishes from the Beach and that they pipe the music in.
Right.
Let's see. Transportation.
Transportation in total, yeah, we talked a little bit about that. The boat runs from Magic Kingdom to Grand Floridian and Polynesian and back. It runs in a loop. Of course, the monorail gets you access to Magic Kingdom Park. You can also get to the Grand Floridian and the Contemporary. It's one of the few places you can get resort to resort directly. Mm-hmm. So one of the benefits of staying at a deluxe is it usually does give you at least one resort where you can get back and forth, unless you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge. That's the only one where you still have to use a transfer point for every single other resort.
Yep.
All the rest of the deluxes, even Wilderness Lodge has a boat that goes directly to the Contemporary and to Fort Wilderness. So. And then there's a walking path actually between the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian. Sorry, I keep on with Grand California.
You're thinking about May.
Yeah. That walking path takes you past the wedding chapel at the Grand Floridian, which I would say we'll discuss in more in depth when we get to the Grand Floridian, but we probably won't because all we can really tell you is that there's a wedding chapel at the Grand Floridian. We didn't get married there. Amy didn't get married there. Nobody got married there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Bummer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I think you mentioned it briefly, but from the Polynesian, you can walk to Transportation and Ticket Center. So that is one of the other great benefits of it, because rather, if you don't feel like dealing with getting on the monorail, going to Transportation and Ticket Center, and swapping into a different monorail, you can just walk the 10 minutes, work off that ohana, and hop one of the direct monorails to the Magic Kingdom or to Epcot.
It's one of the, in fact, it's the only resort where you have direct monorail access to Epcot. Because every other resort that's on the monorail loop, you can't walk to the Transportation and Ticket Center, and you have to transfer monorails there in order to get to Epcot. Epcot only runs back and forth between Epcot and Transportation and Ticket. So the fact that you can walk there and get directly on that Epcot monorail means that you have the same, access to Epcot Park, just from a different angle as you do staying at Boardwalk or Beach Club. So that's a really nice feature, because it means that the Polynesian is also a resort where you have non-bus access to 2 parks. That's one of our favorite features about staying at Boardwalk or Beach Club, is because you have non-bus access to both Epcot and Hollywood Studios. However, being on the Crescent Lake, which is where those resorts are located in between the 2 parks, getting to and from that area is very cumbersome because of the way that the buses run and the fact that you don't have a front of a park that's open late to be able to get back and forth from. So the Polynesian, logistically, getting back and forth and getting to places like Disney Springs and back, or to going to other resorts and coming back, is much, much easier, because you always have Magic Kingdom is open till 10 o'clock most nights, if not later. So you have transportation available there till at least 11 almost every night. And a lot of nights, magic hours will go till midnight or 1 o'clock. So you might have transportation to and from Polynesian via a park, which is a transfer point, up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Whereas if you're staying at in the Crescent Lake area, your bus service to a park as a transfer point is going to shut down about an hour after Hollywood Studios closes, which these days is around 8 o'clock. So that means like about 9 o'clock, you're kind of out of Disney transportation options if you're staying at that area without busing through Disney Springs. And even though they've now changed, did you just shudder at that option? Using Disney Springs as a transfer point it can be very frustrating. There comes a point in the evening where I'll call an Uber before I'll bus all the way to Disney Springs to transfer on a bus and get back somewhere else. It's very congested traffic-wise down there. Not once you get to Disney Springs, it's fine because they've redone the bus loops and it's really, really super convenient. And switching buses there is really a piece of cake. But the traffic on what is that, Buena Vista Boulevard?
I don't know. I ride the bus. Yeah. They know the way. Or you drive me.
I think it's Buena Vista.
I'm lazy.
Boulevard. Whatever the road is that runs out in front of Disney Springs, it's very, very traffic heavy, and there are a lot of signal lights, and it's not the best way to transfer if you can avoid it. I would always transfer through a theme park rather than Disney Springs.
Yeah. I second that.
Yeah.
So I think that runs us out of Polynesian topics.
I think we're good.
We did mention Moana this time, right? Yeah. We caught her the second time that she's there.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then we've got to wrap up with our fun fact. So our fun fact for today is about Spaceship Earth, and actually it's a couple of fun facts rolled into one because I got carried away. So the construction of Spaceship Earth, the actual structure is called a geodesic sphere. And it's called a geodesic sphere. It's got something to do with how the tiles are not actually, it's not like actually round. The tiles are actually flat, and they're made up of triangular shapes. So that's where that term comes from. The sphere itself is constructed so that the pillars that you see coming out of the ground actually attach to a flat platform. So the entire ride is in the top half of the sphere because it's all based on that platform, and then it's a track that goes up from there. So the top half of the sphere has the ride, and then the bottom half is actually just hanging there because it was the only way to make the sphere structurally sound enough to be able to house a ride and people and, have it not collapse, which of course is what I'm thinking about every time we ride it. I get a lot of anxiety riding that ride.
Yes, one of the lamest rides at Disney World. So tame.
Yeah, I have a lot of trouble being in there, guys. I'm very claustrophobic, and it doesn't work well for me a lot of days. Some days it's totally fine, and other days I don't know, I freak out. So anyway, that's my issue. You should totally ride it because it's actually a really good ride.
It is.
Yeah, I have problems. But I think the construction of it is really cool because the Illuminate panels that come together to build the geodesic part of the sphere, they're actually, there's a little hole in the center of each one at each junction, and it acts as a gutter system. So just like the gutters on your house pick up the rainwater and carry it somewhere else, the gutters on Spaceship Earth soak up all the rainwater so that you can stand under it without getting drenched. And it actually funnels all of that water into the World Showcase Lagoon. So that's our fun fact for the day, is the gutter system on Spaceship Earth. And I think it was kind of relevant because you can, because of Polynesian being the only resort that you can monorail to Epcot directly from. So that's where that came from. So anyway, thanks for joining us. And Amy and I are going to sit here and smile at the camera nicely while Ben walks over to turn off the video because we don't have anybody manning the camera today. So sorry we couldn't do shout outs for folks who are watching, but we do thank you for tuning in, and thanks for sitting and listening to us, and we hope you had as much fun as we did.